Hello everyone, it is Mike here. Welcome back to my Sunday blog episodes. Hey, I heard from a few people last week who have been here for a while, so thank you so much for getting in touch. That is awesome. Of course, this feed at the moment used to be my podcast feed, 20th Century Boy, but it is now just the Radio Mike feed, and at the moment it just houses everything that I do. All of my content I'm just putting on this feed. Maybe one day we'll do something else with the feed, but at the moment it is what it is. Every Sunday at 8 a.m. I do my blog over on Substack. Thank you to everyone who's been checking it out. And I also do audio versions of the blog here and on the Substack post itself. So this is this week's version of that. There's also an exclusive written section on the blog, so make sure you check out the written section and subscribe because it's called Resonance and it's a weekly snapshot of stuff I liked this week. So if you want a few recommendations for cool stuff to do, that is all on my written version of the blog. I am feeling really sick. I might have been sick last week as well. I'm probably sicker this week, so I'm gonna stop talking here and read the blog, and that will pretty much be it. Cool guys. This week's blog is called I Thought I Wanted to Be a Comedian, but Dropping That Label Changed Everything for Me. Enjoy! Lately over on my Instagram, I've been trialing a brand new style of content that seems to be resonating really well with people. I've been so excited to see the positive feedback to this new vlog style content. It got me thinking about my journey with Instagram over the years and how I've had an on-again, off-again relationship with the addictive platform. When I got into the content creation game, it was off the back of me working as a panel operator on various radio shows and feeling a creative spark that I wanted to explore. Honestly, I feel like it's taken me the last 10 years to figure out exactly who I am as a performer or creator. I think my biggest misstep or misguidance for many years was that I believed I wanted to be a comedian. Without sounding arrogant, I think I'm relatively funny and have a decent sense of humour. I like to make people laugh and enjoy expressing myself creatively through comedy. I also spent the early days of my career working with famous comics and comedians, whether it was Luke Kidgell, Lewis Spears, Hamish and Andy, Will Anderson, and now Swag on the Beat. Comedy has always been a part of my wheelhouse. This meant that in all of the content I made, I would try to put a comedic touch on it or make it funny. I thought I wanted to be a comedian, but I didn't. I just didn't know it yet. Every single thing I created had the framework of needing a funny twist or joke tacked on to the end. I couldn't just make something informative, interesting, or exciting to me. I was trying to be like everyone else I worked with. Over time, I realized that this wasn't necessarily the space I felt most comfortable in. I didn't particularly want to do stand-up comedy or any kind of comedy performance. Sure, maybe I was a decent comedy thinker, maybe a decent comedy writer, but slowly I removed the need to be funny from my content. When I did that, everything changed. I felt completely liberated when I removed the label of comedian from my work. The thing is, I'm not a comedian. People often asked me over the years how I labelled myself professionally, and I always found it hard. But now I have a better idea. Pop culture commentator, specialising in 90s and 2000s millennial and nerdy stuff. Content creator, producer, and writer, sometimes specialising in comedy content. Podcast producer, and tech dude. For a long time, I felt like a failure because the content I would put up on platforms like Instagram and TikTok just didn't seem to resonate with audiences. Honestly, I blamed myself. I felt like an outcast, like I wasn't cool enough to be on these platforms. The shame that lived inside of me multiplied when I used these apps because I didn't feel like I belonged. When I posted content, I'd lose followers. It made me feel worse about myself. I watched a lot of friends and peers surge with their content, gaining tons of followers and becoming massive. I felt jealous. I wanted that. I never actually considered that maybe the content I was making just wasn't right for me and who I was. Why was I trying to be a comedian when I knew I wasn't? Why was I trying to be a shock influencer when I knew I wasn't? Why couldn't I just be me? Again, a lot of this falls into the numbers trap, where you let numbers on social media dictate your entire life and mental well-being, which I wrote about a few weeks ago. Recently, after an extended break from Instagram, I decided to give it another crack, chronicling a day in the life of a freelance podcast producer working on Swag on the Beat. I kept making content like this and the reception was so positive. Now, I'm making all kinds of content like that, chronicling the stuff I'm into, and I love it. What I've learned is that the content I was making wasn't actually representative of me. Having hot takes or quirky one-liners in short-form video was me trying to be a version of me that I thought I needed to be. Does that even make sense? Now, I'm trying to be true to myself. One of my key learnings in my 20s was that the more uniquely myself I am, the happier I become, and the more like-minded people I attract. I have so many ideas for upcoming vlogs that I'm trying to post across all platforms, including YouTube, Substack, Threads, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram, so I hope you'll follow me somewhere and check it out. Thank you so much for listening to that, guys. I hope you've gotten something out of it. Again, there is an exclusive written section on the blog called Resonance, a weekly snapshot of stuff I like this week. This week there is a movie, a YouTube video, an album, and something fun, which is the first time I've ever used the category of something fun in Resonance, so I hope you'll go and check that out. And if you can support me in any way, I mean, there's still a Patreon, which I've been planning on doing a rejig to at some point soon. Or, you can donate on PayPal or Substack or wherever, or just follow me somewhere. That's a good way to help me as well. But yeah, it's really cool to be doing this, and I'm really glad people are listening. Like, I see the numbers. I don't try to pay much attention to them, but yeah, it's good that there are a bunch of people listening. So yeah, thank you so much. My name's Soon Radio Mike. This has been The Inside of My Mind, and I will catch you later.